Live.
Alrighty. Alright, this is the first episode of Rock Talks podcast. Well, not Rock Talks, Rock Talk podcast. Whew, you could tell this is new. uh,
Oh yeah, it's a
so,
word. It's a mouthful.
so for the first episode ever, I decided to get my homeboy, my lifelong friend since freshman year of high school, Uh, Matticus the Bliss. He's the front man for such prolific band, Those Damn Kids, based out of Spokane, Washington. They are punk rock, and post-hardcore, as I would say. Anything else I missed there, Maddie?
Um, Experimental, out of our minds, completely batshit. I don't know. You pretty much hit it right there in the noggin.
Yes, it's really good shit. Their recent single, "Daddy's Girl," they posted it on YouTube. It's on SoundCloud. It's on Amazon Music. I'll post a link to in the description to their recent single on YouTube and for their. You guys have a DistroKid or something that you go through?
Yeah, DistroKid. Yeah, we go through DistroKid, so anything that proceeds, all that goes through there. So we're getting paid efficiently.
Cool.
DistroKid, sponsor us.
Hell yeah! I'll take any sponsorship that comes falling down onto me. So,
Be careful, you'll get one for some condoms or some shit, and they won't even be good ones, and you'll get sued.
oh, like, then the Dollar Tree brand condoms. Oh.
Yeah.
So, just real quick, what's the background of the band? Can you tell the listeners like how you guys started, where you started at, and how you progressed to right where you are now?
Background of the band is actually really fucking funny because it's just two people who literally just they got in a car crash and neither of them knew how to cope, so we just started sitting around and playing music. But in real talk, like Skylar kind of we all kind of met. Three of us met at high school, and we would all pass each other in the halls and be like, "You do this, you do this, you do this. We should start a band together." And none of us started a band together. So years went by. It's like good 3-4 years went by, and then I graduated, and I had met Skylar, our guitarist, and he had came over. I guess he was seeing a girl down the street from where my first apartment was, and she had dumped him and shit, and he asked for a ride home because buses stopped running, and don't drink and drive, kids. But my dumb ass was like, sure, yeah, I can give you a ride home, and we met on an we basically got close over a near death experience because I just remember shooting past this one street that wasn't you weren't supposed to go straight. I'll just put it that way. Any Hoosers. And then not even 2 weeks later or whatever, I got in a car with him and we got in a really bad wreck together, which is what I was referring to. And pretty much after that moment, we were glued to each other's hips. He was pretty much over every day. He would play guitar, and I kind of just sit next to him and just kind of sing and make music. And it started as an indie project that slowly turned into what the fuck are we doing here? And the concept name actually comes from back in the day when I was living out in Vegas. I already had, and it's kind of funny but not funny at the same time because I pretty much just robbed the dudes from their name, but it was my name in the first place. So we go rights. But anyways, I took the name from an old band that I had back in Vegas called Those Damn Kids that didn't really go anywhere, and I brought it up to Sky, and he was like, "That's not even." I was like, "We should make this an album," and he's like, "Nah, dude, that's like a band name," and that's kind of where the name came. And I want to say it was almost like a year or so after that is when Eli showed up, and he was the only one. We went through a bunch of different bases, but he was the only one that I knew that we had a warlock. He had a warlock at the time, and I was like, that shit's sick, dude. I want one of those fucking you know big old fucking meaty bass player kind of things. I've always admired that, and and he fit it. So I asked him if he wanted to play bass. He's like, "No, I want to play guitar," and something about it just pissed me off to the point where he stuck, and I wanted him to stay because it was that cocky attitude that I needed for a bassist. You know what I mean? And then I was playing drums at that point. That's the other part about the band that a lot of people don't realize is it started as a two-piecer where I played the drums and Sky played guitar, and I would play the drums, and we played like 3 or 4 shows like that. And Eli was just a recruited member who played shows for us. He wasn't really in it yet, so he would just go and play the shows with us sometimes. Whereas like the first like 3 shows we ever played was just me and Sky on stage, and it was pretty cool.
Nice.
And probably about year and a half into it, I got tired of it. I got carpal tunnel in my hands from playing over the years, so I just it's like fuck the drums, and so I put out an ad on Facebook that we were looking for a drummer, and a lot of jokers hit me up, but one dude hit me up and was like, I'm moving from Montana to Washington, and I'd love to learn to play the drums, but my sister has a wedding soon. And right off the bat, I'm like, sketched 5,000. But he's like, but here's the catch, I'll learn all your songs. And he started sending me like playing the songs, and I was like, no shit, okay, this guy's like learning all of our shit. And around that like week, we got announced for like a whole like couple months. It was like at this point we were playing shows like back to back to back to back.
And was
that's when we had
this
Eli. We'd already decided Eli was in it. Go ahead.
yeah. Was this before or after, if I remember correctly, you called it Noise and Shit from 106?
Yeah, so backtrack, I guess. We put out Noise and Shit from 106 under just me and Sky. And
Okay.
about halfway through the first Noise and Shit from 106. Noise and Shit from 106 is the first EP, and then side B would be Noise and Shit just in general. But Noise and Shit from 106 came from this idea that our neighbor, our downstairs and upstairs neighbor, our original downstairs neighbor, hated us because we just partied every fucking day. And we'll get to that story when it comes to 106. We'll come back. But yeah, so we got the idea of like, fuck it, let's name the album Noise and Shit. And it was a album that me and Sky had literally wrote high as fuck on shrooms, weed, liquor, just every teenage, story. We Motley Crued it, like tough. We cocaine, fucking everything in the book, like. But we
Well,
wrote this
actually,
album just
speaking about
basically
that,
off our mentalities.
yeah, speaking about that, what you're saying, it's like the Motley Crue shit. I know you guys are all friends because I've been with you guys. We partied, we hung out. But what is the dynamic like? Do you guys have the dynamic of Motley Crue, where low key on stage you all just like kind of hate each other and kind of have that infighting, or are you more still just like brotherly on stage with a little bit of fucking crazy shit mixed in?
There's tension. What band does it? I would say that like there was a point where there was like a Tommy Lee Nikki Sixx moment where me and Sky were involved with the same girl, and that could have been really ugly for most people, and it was really ugly for both of us. But we kind of went through it, and we don't really like to look back at those days as bad days as much as we were both just trapped in the same kind of mindset time frame. It was definitely, there were moments where we go on stage and we were ready to kill each other, and there's moments where we go on stage and we know we need each other most. I feel like every band has that, and I feel like that's the coolest part about being in a band is how do you bounce back from that,
Yeah, totally.
But for the most part, it's all brotherly. It's all brother, and it's definitely brotherly on that point. There's points where all of us want to kill each other just because we're brothers and we're around each other for too long, and then there's parts where we miss each other because we haven't seen each other in longer than a week. So it really just depends. But
Nice.
back in that day, yeah, there was a lot of that Motley Crue kind of feel where it was like, we'd go on. There were days where I'd go to practice, and like I said, me and Sky, we rarely never coped with our issues through that car crash. So we coped a lot with liquor, and there were a lot of times where I'd go to practice and I just hated being there. Like I didn't even want to play. But I think that's the coolest part about those damn kids is whenever it came to the music, is we've always played our damnness, especially when it comes to a show. Is we've always just gone up there and played. I played the show when Corona started, and back when before any of us knew what it was. The November before that March, I fucking took stage, and I couldn't, like, even my wife, everybody in the band will tell you the same story, that like I don't remember taking stage. I don't remember getting off stage. All I remember is during the breakdown and Get Violent, I punched the ground right on cue, and everybody lost their shit. And I guess there was a standing ovation and everything. It was crazy. I don't remember shit. I don't remember driving home. I don't remember getting there. I don't remember shit.
Well,
That was
speaking
one of the
about
first times I wasn't intoxicated.
yeah, but speaking about COVID, how it's a big thing right now. It's been a whole year of just everything shut down. Venues, bands haven't been able to play gigs. Very rarely are they able to get into a studio because of all the COVID restrictions. How's that working out with you guys? Have you got any hurdles? Because I know you guys have been working, if I remember correctly, on a new album / EP.
Yes.
And how has that
are
been trying to
working on a
record during
full length,
COVID?
actually.
Are you working on a full length?
So we're actually fortunate enough that the guy who we go through, Jimmy, and Amplified Wax out here in Spokane, he's got booked dates, so we have to plan in advance in general, just because he's like one of the best ones out here. So in this small area, because we do, as you know, we live in a fairly small town. I mean, it's like going from Boulder City to Henderson kind of thing, but it is very small towny, and so it's the only good studio. So we actually had to book out into March, and so we kind of get to plan ahead and all that. And we also have a buddy of ours. His name is Dennis, and he has what they call a beet ranch or a beet farm, and it's pretty cool because he basically lives on this farm, but he rents out his shed, like farm shed thing, to um bands for them to play, because he has like this stage in this room where we can practice in. And so we pay him we pay him $20 a session, because I used to work with the guy. So we were very fortunate enough for him to only be charging us a mere 40 bucks or whatever to come in and play for 2 days a week. So it's kind of crazy, because it's like we could pay up front, but we just do the 20 each time and get in and practice, and we get to play 2 days a week. So it's like playing on stage. And that's another thing, is we go on stage with this mindset of every day's practice. When we play a show, every day's practice. We're just trying to be better than we were yesterday. And
yeah.
So
like the Linkin Park thing.
So that's
where they said practice like it's a real show, because if you're not living, eating, and shitting music, why are you trying to make it music?
Exactly, and that's something we've always kind of just taken to heart, ourselves. We've always just, I know, like me and Eli always do mock interviews with each other, just because it's something that we love to do. It keeps our mind and our wheels turning, and so it's pretty keen in the industry.
Yeah, totally.
Can you tell I haven't done any of my fucking routine this morning?
Yes, it's perfectly fine. It's going with the aesthetic of this podcast right now. For this podcast, let's work out all the kinks. But
the third podcast, I'm like, woo!
But as you were talking about how you guys love being up on the stage, it's a no fucking brainer. But because you hear it from all musicians everywhere right now, we miss the stage. We miss being up on the stage. We miss the rush of it. It's like, how much of that are you and the guys in Those Damn Kids feeling it, of just like sitting there just going, God, I want to get up on the stage, but also going, but I don't want our fans to die.
We're struggling. a lot of the guys are struggling. I mean, a lot of the guys already struggle with mental health as is, and so I know, like, me and Sky are taking it to heart pretty hard. Alex takes it to heart pretty hard just because they can't practice at home, all the time. And I got it recently too, so we had to like not practice for a little bit, and so that was an even lower blow. Um, but we're all struggling. I know me and Sky, I've talked about it. I've talked about it multiple times about how I struggle with drinking and stuff like that. We've both had our fair shares of relapses and stuff just because of the whole quarantine issues and not being able to play added on to that. But I think a lot of us are as well like trying to replace that, with working out and stuff like that. And I know me and Eli are trying to get better, you know. And then I'm a father as well, so keeping focused on my kid and my family as well kind of helps majorly with the antsiness of wanting to play. But yeah, like you said, man, we're dying over here. We're suffering just like every other musicians and the guys who play bigger festivals. I can only imagine how they feel.
Yeah. But bringing up your kid, as you just mentioned, and knowing that you have another little guy, a little one on the way, what's how is that gonna meld in and work its way with your life you already have when COVID not disappears, but just fizzles away when the vaccine comes out and touring and gigs come back up? How's that gonna be like for you? Like, have you thought about that?
all the time. Hard. I already know that it's gonna be real difficult to leave on tour. It's real difficult to leave to go to work. But at the end of the day, it's for them, it's for her, it's for us, it's for them. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to be blessed to be doing what I'm doing without without people like the fans and my wife, who is also a diehard fan, and my kids who push me every day. So at the end of the day, it's a balance. It's a miss, but it's a good miss.
Nice.
And we live in the wonderful world of fucking technology now at this point where it's, we're just a FaceTime away.
Yep, totally. Also, well, on the kid thing, have you noticed that having the kid has kind of like calmed you down a little bit, like taking you a little bit down to where you find it a little bit like there's just so much cuteness and love from a new baby. Have you found it? You're just sitting there and it's just like really hard to write some fucking punk shit. have you
Nah, I
you
don't
had
have
these
problems with
troubles?
writing, man. He shits and he screams or throws something or and I'm instantly like, the government is a piece of shit, yeah. Instantly fucking into that mindset. But I think the biggest thing for me at least is that I've been able to look at my health more and like look at drugs and alcohol less. When you're a punk, you develop the I don't care mentality. I don't care about this, I don't care about that. And it's okay. It's cool. I mean, it's alright if you want to think that way, but at the same time, like, there comes a point where it's like, do you really not care? Do you really not want, Once you're looking at a little version of you, well, your life just kind of gets swept out under the rug and every other thing that and a lot of people don't know this, but I used to wake up real like fucking half an 8 ball, fucking do like 3 caps of shrooms and then fucking pop a tab of acid, drink a half gallon, and then fucking go about my day. And now I wake up and I make my kid his bottle and I, watch him play with his toys and my day is made. I can't ask for more.
Once you have a baby,
That
the priorities they change. It's no longer. It's just like, oh, let's get
that
fucked up.
yeah
It's more like, let's take care of the baby.
yeah. And
I totally feel that.
it's that's the best high you'll ever ride. I can tell you that. And it's sad that some people don't want to ride it.
Yep. Uh, but going back to you were talking about with writing, is it typically just you writing, or do all the guys have a say in the writing process? Is it like an all-together sit-down write, or is it one person writes, brings it to everyone, and they all just sit, you guys all just sit there and go through it and figure out what's good and add in to it?
I'll admit I'm pretty bad at taking it upon myself to finish and critique and do the songs and sing them the way that I hear it in my head. But a lot of the times what will happen is so like I'll take we just wrote this song called Corrupt Nation. It's a very fucking exclusive. It's a very Rage Against the Machine kind of song. And
Nice.
Alex and Sky, me and Eli showed up late. We were at the bar. We were just fucking around. we didn't know it was IC. We didn't know if we were gonna end up having practice or not. So we decided to go get some snickered on, and we did. We got pretty snickered, to be blatantly honest with you. And so we showed up, and this guy's playing this fucking jazzy ass guitar riff. It's like and I'm like, Jesus Christ! And Alex is doing this like, and I'm like, Jesus. So I walk in, and I'm instantly like, what's wrong with our brothers and sisters when they're laying on the floor, when they're all dead, got a fucking 44 on their head? No, and it fucking started just going off, bro. And that was the day that Joe Biden won, and all this other shit started breaking out. And so I just started yelling, dude. And then like I didn't really like think of any other lyrics aside for it's a corrupt nation, and if you get fucked, then you're not gonna make it. and it was very in your face, and I was like, I like that. And then I got to a part where I was like, there's no justice, no peace. Not any justice or there's no justice, no peace. Because how could there be when brothers dying in the streets? And
Nice.
it's really like that, it's they'll start playing something and I'll just start thinking of something. Sky writes a lot of lyrics too, and we'll toss them back and forth. And usually we'll do a huge big sit down write process, but Scars, for instance, it's a slower song we did. Eli wrote that with Sky. I wrote the lyrics. Let's see, Bastard Child, fucking Sky wrote the guitar out. I wrote the lyrics out of pure just feeling. Alex has got this song that we're working on, but I haven't really looked at the lyrics because I'm pretty lazy as well. But I'm trying to look at the lyrics, and you know this as well. I'm pretty lazy when I'm already working on other stuff, but I'm also very attached to one thing, and it's hard for me to look at other things at the same time.
Yeah, well, I know when you get focused on something, like you are stuck there. You are nitpick fucking all on it.
Yeah. I'm very nitpicky, and I won't leave that until I'm satisfied with it. And that's why we ended up having two sides to Noise and shit, because I was too nitpicky to let it go.
That's how a lot of these B-side albums come to fruition. It's like how that's why past two Stone Sour albums, if I remember correctly, they both have a deluxe edition where it's like that for those 3 or 4 extra songs that was like the bangers, but they didn't fit on the album originally. So I love B-sides and fucking like deluxe editions, because you really do get to peek at the band and the writers of the songs. You just get to take a look at the stuff that they still put a lot of work and passion and love into, but they just realized that it didn't fit in the regular album that they release. Like whether it be like if they're doing a concept album and it doesn't fit in with the couple songs don't fit in with the storyline of the album. Fucking love hearing that shit. The song I loved with Pink Floyd, where they released an album. I think it's called Cutting Room Floor, and it's all the things that didn't make it into the wall. And it's awesome to hear that, because you all sit there and go, "Oh, I now know where in the album this was gonna be at," because you can hear like the little bits of it. Say, "Oh, that's in this part of the album." it's really nice to hear that
Exactly.
creative of the artist, even though it's not part of the regular album. And honestly, I
It
didn't
really adds
know.
variation too.
Yeah, I didn't know that Noise and Shit was two pieces. I just thought it was
Yeah.
altogether Noise and Shit from 106. So I only listened to it as an
Yeah,
album,
no, it's
and it's just all
that's
fucking
awesome though.
bangers. They're pretty banger. Like you could tell, it's like if you're not into punk, or at that time, like you could hear it's like not high produced music. But if you like hearing like that OG original raw sound, Noise and Shit from 106 is just it's good. It's fucking banger.
We recorded that shit in my bathroom, bro. we uh we, we didn't have money, and we were really into that it's a punk thing to do attitude, you know. And so me and Sky got the idea that we were just gonna record wherever we felt the passion, you know. And so Get Violent was recorded in my bathroom and my closet and the gym. My apartment center had a gym. And we went down there like opening, like right when it opens. And nobody was there. And we like set up everything and just started recording because it had really good echo. And I was insecure with my voice at the time. So I was like, oh man, I gotta get some recordings. And dude, it was an hour. Like just thinking back on those days, actually, it's kind of funny because we literally would record anywhere. Like if we felt passion, we would record on the bus. Like we would take like change and shit, and we'd put it in our pockets and listen to our seats, so we can get like an effect of like, you know, change or whipping sounds and shit. It's kind of cool. It was kind of gnarly. It's kind of weird to think that we don't go to that extreme anymore. But we what else do we do? Oh, I have a song Fade Away on that album, which we're gonna redo. It's a concept song. It's supposed to be like 10 minutes, and I want an orchestra and everything. It's one of those songs that I'm nitpicky on. But Fade Away for anybody who doesn't know, and for those, I don't know if you know this, but it was basically my suicide note when I first moved here, because some shit was dark in my life. And so I wrote that song, and a buddy of mine told me I actually should put it out. And I didn't really think about it until now. I didn't really think about it until the other day, and I started breaking down, but I was like, I didn't realize how much that guy really helped me become what I am today just because of that note in that song. And it was the first song that me and Sky, second song me and Sky had sat down and wrote together. First song it was like a diss track to Wendy's because they didn't sell chicken nuggets.
They obviously listened because they brought back the spicy nugs.
Damn fucking straight they did.
But with Fade Away, I can understand when it's songs like that where it's based off of something very real to you. I found it with myself too. It is the ones that it's very easy to get nitpicky on because it's a song that's very close to your chest. It has a lot of personal attachment to it. So when you write something like that, you don't want to just be to say, oh yeah, spend 2 days on it, put it on the editing bay and mix it. Yeah, you really do have to take your time with it, and putting it out is cathartic. It's a cathartic feeling to just have it be out there, and you just sit there and go, oh, and especially if the response is positive to it, it just really helps you 100%. And the fact that you're re-recording it, wanting to do it more towards like what you had in mind for it, I think is a really brilliant idea because a lot of reimagined songs sound better but still hold the same meaning, sometimes even deeper. Like Falling in Reverse, the Drug in Me Is You. The original one, It was okay. It was okay. I wasn't like it wasn't my favorite from Falling in Reverse. But last year when they released The Drug in Me Is Reimagined, and it was Ronnie playing the piano and just like really good, just clean vocals throughout.
I
And
haven't
then,
even listened to it. I'll
oh,
go check it
dude,
out.
it's so beautiful. It's just straight piano and cello for the majority of the song,
Yeah.
and like the last like two lines, the rest of the band comes in and like the screams start happening. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah. That's the
That's
feel.
great about
That's the
doing a
feel.
reimagined version.
The crescendo.
Yeah,
I
but just
love that. And that's where it comes in. Is I really just want to take the two songs we did, because the first original one we had, we used the sync for it sounding like I was trying to drown myself in a creek, and then we had Tic Tacs for pills of overdosing, and then we got a scene of me really drunk, and I think we recorded it like 50 times at least of me fucking tripping over something, go fuck, because we wanted it to sound like I had really fucked up, like overdose, fall back, and be like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? And so I'd slam like 50 different times until I got that perfect grunt. But my favorite part is, I don't know which one it is because they're both on SoundCloud and YouTube, but the first one we ever did is, there's a scene in it where, so Serena, I know you remember Serena, she's an ex of mine, and she was really close to me at the time, but she had really fucked with my heart at the time as well. And so you can hear a scene in the background of me and her talking, and she asks what those damn kids mean to us, and it's right before the breakdown too. And I'm like, you could really just put us in a room and we're just a vision. We're not even a thing. We're just an idea that everybody had but tossed away at some point. And then there's another part where Sky imitates my dad, because I'm like, oh, dude, I'm getting chills and I'm about to tear. So he's imitating my dad, and he's like, you'll never make it. You'll not give up. This, that, and this. And then on the other side, it was me chanting, you complained about us, you shunned us, or no, he's saying the same thing. And it's just back and forth of like what the mind feels like of going back and forth on yourself and doubting yourself and stuff. And we did like a left side, right side pan, basically. So one side's the negatives, the other side's the positive side. And then we used to, like I said, do a lot of shrooms, so we just thought we knew it all at the point. And we used to say this thing where it was like, if there are three things: first, you could turn to God, but fuck that. Second, you could accept your fate in reality, and third, just let it happen. Basically, it is what it is of our time at that point. And yeah, Fade Away is one of those songs that I really just want to go back and redo and do it right with the justice it deserves. Because the second version, he put like a cello, he put like a ring, a triangle. It just made it pretty. And as soon as I heard that, I heard it, and I was like, it just needs to go in, and it needs to be done correctly.
Yes, yeah. Now, going into the new shit you put out, but before that, actually, on 106, that one of my favorite songs off that album is Something Cool. I very much enjoy that. It's just
That one's our anthem.
it's just one of those things, you just sit there and you go like, there's something here. There's fucking something here. So the fact that it's your anthem means I was right.
We wrote that and we knew it was an anthem. Yeah, it's our anthem. Like, everybody knows it. The term 6 p.m. at it again, getting drunk as fuck with all of my friends, it's literally not a catchy fucking doo-wop ditty that I wrote.
Yeah.
It is literally what our lifestyle was. It was literally, we woke up at 6 p.m. Our homies would come over. Randos would come over. Fucking, we'd get drunk and we would drink until we passed out, and when we woke up we kept drinking. Like, it was nuts. Like, that whole song is a cry for help. I want you to know that whole song wasn't even like we literally joke about it all the time. We wrote it as a cry for help, but at the same time, it's kind of like a mockery of what living in the addict's mind is like. Because we kept saying, me and Sky would do this thing where we'd sit on the porch and be like, "You need to slow down," but I'm never gonna slow down, because I don't know, we're dickheads. When we look at each other's friendship, we think of the two old men from the Muppets.
Yes.
Like we're just dickheads.
Oh man.
So, we kind of would
That's so
mock
funny.
our addiction, which is kind of wrong if you think about it. But
Oh, dude, I
where
used
the
to do
song
that
came
so
from.
much. I used to do it so much when I was smoking. Like I saw a video that resurfaced in my memories on Facebook just recently, from when me and my brother were doing a video together. And whenever I'd have my smoker's cough, I used to always go cancer. And it's one of those things where you sit there and you go, thinking about it, it's totally kind of fucked how I'm making a joke about something so serious that I'm doing to myself. But it's also one of those things you sit there and you go, it's fucking funny. Because that's where I am. I am shock humor. I fucking love that shit. I love shock humor.
Yeah, we've always been that way. Like,
Just
you're
say something. Say something that shouldn't be said, but not overtly fucked up. Not overtly fucked up. Just like
Depends on your version of overtly fucked up.
well, my drop off is when all of a sudden like the shock comedy comes from racial epithets, and I'm just saying, come on, dude. Pick a different thing.
The United States are just a bunch of pussies.
I agree.
Before I even get big.
Yeah, I love fucked up humor, but I do have a line at some points. But other than that, it's just
me too.
Yeah. But speaking about that, because you were talking about it's just fucking America. Have you had any problems with your music and like this fucking the PC culture nowadays? So have you ever had like any lyrical content where you sat there and because like I've noticed it before, where you sit there when you're writing and it takes a moment, you go out of your head and you go, is this something that will bite me in the ass if I record it and put it out?
I like to tread on it. I personally love to tread on it. It's one of my favorite things. I think the more offensive, the better, because you're gonna get people to listen. Now, I don't believe in like going, like I love me some Cannibal Corpse and some shit like that. But I think there's a line. For me, I believe in poetic justice, and because we ain't gonna get it anywhere else, so I like to try. We have a song called "Contraceptive," for instance, and for most people that don't know what that means, that basically means to prevent a life. Both of us me and Sky particularly, both have gone through abortions through the same person. His was more personal. And so when I think about the title, the song itself, and how it sounds a lot like preventing the life. It sounds like abortion. It sounds like that. So I know there's going to be I know after this interview, somebody's going to sit there and fucking try to go for it. But I say bring it on, because you're just weak stomach and weak mind. If you can't sit there and take it in perspective, that's all it is look at it from a perspective. For us, we have the idea of making our next EP Contraceptive. And we've fought with it for a long time. But I want to name it because we prevented the life of a lot of music that, because we were insecure about it. We didn't want to put it out because of other people. And like you said, I think there is a lot of censorship when it comes to that. And I think it's kind of dumb. I mean, I think it's for good reason, but I think it's also like you have the power within yourself to think, are you really offended? Who are you offended for? Are you just offended because they're offended?
Yeah. Like with that, I wouldn't consider that offensive, because if you're considering that offensive, you're considering Daddy from Korn offensive. I wouldn't
Hmm.
call that offensive. I would call that catharsis and therapy through music.
Yeah,
So when it's something
you
like
know.
that, you
Yeah,
gotta sit there.
I have a lot of controversial lyrics that I feel like a lot of people are gonna want to nitpick and take apart. And one thing I struggle with a lot is that I'm a realist, and I've noticed a lot of people like to put themselves in your shoes, but take it literal. So they'll literally tell you how you're feeling. They'll be like, okay, you
Yeah.
feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel this. Like, bro, I'm me. I don't feel what you're telling me I'm feeling. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm mad, you'll know I'm mad. Sometimes I'm happy, you know I'm happy. Sometimes I'm pissed, or you'll know it. I'm not shy from letting you know what my feelings are. It's when you sit there and tell me what my feelings are is when I'm gonna get mad. And that's kind of how I write. I kind of write and to make you think. Daddy's Girl, for instance, a lot of people could chop it up. Well, I was getting asked a lot because as you know, I've been through a lot of bad breakups and stuff. And a lot of my friends used to like to say, "Man, you hold grudges. You hold grudges." I was like, "I don't hold grudges. I treat people how they treat me." And I mean, I kind of joke and laugh here and there because some grudges I do hold, some grudges I don't. But Daddy's Girl, a lot of people were asking if it was written about two specific in mind. And I kind of laughed. I was like, no, I'm Daddy's Girl, dude. I love that a lot of these songs, Corn, you brought up Corn, Freak on a Leash and shit, and how he wrote in the perspective of a guy. First time in forever. That's what was so revolutionary about that song. Um, I love that. I love how a lot of there's a lot of songs where they always say she feels a certain way, and I personally feel that certain way too. And I think it's kind of redundant. So I kind of just wrote Daddy's Girl in a mockery towards that stuff because it was like I'm Daddy's Girl. Everybody assumes that it's over a girl because of mommy issues or all this other stuff, but no, I'm Daddy's Girl.
Mm.
I felt abused. I felt this. I felt that, and nobody wanted to pay attention. And then the one thing they would call me growing up was a little girl. Quit being a little girl. So I'm Daddy's girl,
Yeah.
and I think it's funny. I love that. That's the first thing people go to is it about a girlfriend? No, dude. Listen
Uh,
to the song.
the first thing I get from it is bitch and tune. It really is. It's good. Like I really enjoy how it builds up, and then fucking I love when your screams start to get in when you're
Hmm.
screaming "Daddy's girl, Daddy's girl, Daddy's girl." I love how
Yeah,
how you guys did that with the fucking scream building up with every Daddy's girl.
it's
Um,
about emotion, and that's how I feel. I feel like it's bubble up.
yeah,
You're bubbling up this emotion, and by the end, you should be freaking out, and then bringing it back together.
because that
It's
is something that
therapeutic to
yeah,
me.
that is something that is so true when it comes to punk, rock, and metal. Screams and growls, they aren't there because the
Mhm.
person can't sing. They're there because those are the ones where the artist wants to punch that word to you. It's like this is where the real meaning is right here. Fucking this is in your face because it needs to be in your face. Like
See, and I believe in a lot of art, and I believe that, like like the metalcore and deathcore and all that. I love that. It's another form of the art. But like you are saying, there is a point where I do like the rock. Like Slipknot does it a lot. Stone Sour did, or not Stone Sour. Tell my mother. Dumb. Fucking. I don't own the rights to their music. I can't. I can't. I don't know. But anywho, Shine Down, them motherfuckers. But
oh yes,
there's a point where it's like you're using your voice as an instrument as well, and I believe like emotion is raw. You're not gonna write a song. I help a buddy of mine. He's a rapper, and he's getting into that heavy, that new age stuff. and he wrote a song, and it's about a breakup, and he sent me like the rap itself after like the how heavy it was, and I was like, I want you to know this. You're not going like I'm upset. Yeah, I'm upset. Like you're pissed. You're mad. You're done with that bitch, right? And he's like, yeah. So I'm like, I'm upset. I'm upset. You know, you're getting into that shit. You're pissed, so you want to build that shit. You know, and he's like, okay, I see what you're saying. And I think that's what artists need to not be afraid to do is reach out, tap into their emotions, get mad,
because
flip a table.
like if you take the same lyrics, like let's say it's just say, "All I feel is pain." If you took that lyric, there's different ways you can put the emphasis on it. You can sing "All I feel is pain," but like with like a wavering tone in your voice, and that puts it as like it's a sad type of pain. Or I feel pain with a scream or a growl, and that's the angry type of pain. Like you hurt me, and I'm pissed about it. And I just don't understand why people can't just hear that, realize it, and go, yes, he's feeling pain. It's so stupid. It's so one-dimensional.
So right.
Everyone thinks that it's just like you scream because you can't do anything else. That you lack the talent. And it's what I love about Jared Dine's video. It's just like, it doesn't take any talent to scream. Try screaming.
Yeah, it takes a lot, and that's another thing too. Is the dynamic is like you were talking about. Is I like how it can change. If you're going from like a yo to a ow, it's completely different moods.
It's also why I love Vermilion Part 1 and Vermilion Part 2 from Slipknot off of their third album. Because it's the same lyrics for each song. It's just one is very dark, and you get this unsettling feeling, and the riffs and the screams. It's fucking great. And then part 2 is just calm, clean, like beautiful vocals from Corey with acoustic background. And you sit there and go, it's the same song, but 2 different feelings you got from it. And I think it was beautiful that they did that. Because they did just show, it's just like, fuck you, the same song could have 2 different meanings just by the way you sing it and perform it.
Dude, I love when bands do that. Like, A Day to Remember has a couple songs like that. I believe Here's to the Past and a couple other songs. Oh, fuck. I can't think of them right now. I know Woe Is Me did that shit too. And that's one of my favorite things is when you take a really, really heavy song and then throw it to the other side of the spectrum. I should do that with Mexican Interlude. Pour a drink for me. Make it up.
Avenged Sevenfold kind of did that too, but but in a different way. It wasn't the same song twice, but in 2 different styles. But in Waking the Fallen, I Won't See You Tonight 1 and 2, like that first part 1 is just like clean vocals, still is like good guitar riffs and shit, and then it pops off with like what you hear is the new, like what you could assume is a nuclear warhead taking off, and then it goes into the part 2, and part 2 is all screams and just fast ass fucking riffs. It's great.
That's what you can expect like that for this next album. Is I love when people do background noises and stuff like that. Paint a scene in the album where it's not just singing, it's not just the songs. Green Day did that. And people, say what you want about Green Day, but they're one of my favorite bands when it comes to that. Eminem, say what you want about Eminem, he's one of my favorite artists when it comes to that.
Oh yeah.
I think if you paint a picture really and you really connect, like not only emotion but theatrically, visually, I think it does a whole number, and that's really where we're heading. That's where Those Damn Kids is wanting to do. Is our whole goal right now is basically to start painting the picture, start we want to deteriorate from that party logo that we have. Like we're gonna be that crazy band, you know. We want to be that band that you never know what you're gonna get. You never know what the fuck you're gonna walk into when you go to our shows. You know, a circus. We're gonna, you know, we're always gonna keep you on your toes because inside my mind is madness, and that's the whole point of those damn kids. It's just simply mad, absolutely bonkers.
Hell yeah. And have you listened to Code Orange?
Yeah, we get compared to them all the time. People are like, "You guys need to play with them."
They're great. They're fucking great, and I love their use of digital noises throughout their songs. Like they have the one called the that got me into them. I found it because I was like, oh, featuring Corey Taylor. Ooh, but it's called The Hunt.
Yep.
And it has just like so many nice just like bits where it's just like the fucking riff just like backs off for a second and it's just like a computer noise going boom, and it's just like you never would think that would go well with it. Then again, they do give off that Nine Inch Nails industrial metal feel to like with their song music.
For those damn kids, our influences when we first started, 100%, were bands like Code Orange, Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, Meatwave, the Arctic Monkeys, The Strokes, Dire Artist Murder, Suicide Silence. We were very all over the place. Green Day, My Chemical Romance, Dillinger's Escape Plan. God, we were everywhere, and a lot of EDM.
Nice. Fuck yeah. But what would you say, like, this next album that you guys are releasing, you said it's going to be a full one. We've heard Daddy's Girl. That's going to be on there definitely, right?
I believe we're throwing Daddy's Girl on there as well, yes.
Okay. What's the general sound going to be like? Are you, like, departing away from the Noise and Shit 106, going more towards, like, the metalcore sound? Or are you going to keep that, but, have more, like, chugging and fast metalcore riffs, but keeping the same vocal style / technique and playing technique as the last album?
I wouldn't say we are getting more as much as we're leaving it. We've gotten more experimental for sure. We've gotten very technical, I would say. We've gotten very psychedelic. We've gotten very... I mean, you still got thrash. It's still punk. It's very up there. But I'd say we're going more Guns N' Roses-y direction. We're kind of going for a different kind of sound. We've
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Oh no. Can you hear me? You've frozen.
The most I could say is keep an eye out. You know, I don't really know what to call it right now.
Hey, hey, can you hear me?
The new phase.
Can you hear me?
What happens with those damn kids a lot is yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you were frozen for that entire bit, so I did not hear, and the recording did not hear what you just said.
What was the question?
So are you
the direction? Okay.
Yeah, more metalcore, less punk, or still the same?
We are actually moving away from it. We've got more Guns N' Roses-y, 70s more. The 70s influence is really coming out on this. We've got a mix between chuggy and hard. I mean, I'd say the thrash is still there. It's always going to be there, but we've definitely moved to a more groovier direction, and that's how I'll keep it.
It's kind of like Guns N' Roses meets Motorhead.
Guns N' Roses meets Arctic Monkey.
Oh, nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, like shit's wild, bro.
Cool beans. Nice. Well, we are coming up at the end of the podcast. Got 5 minutes left. So, in one of the final questions I have to ask is, where are you guys going from here? It's just like, do you have any plans from the future from here on, like the next year? What would you say is like the plans for those damn kids? God hoping that venues open back up.
We have a music video coming out here soon. We're filming in this next month. The EP or the album coming out in March. Hopefully tour, merch, more music videos. Hopefully a lot of naked women, maybe me naked as well. A lot of wieners, a lot of butts, and Sky might get a mullet.
The music video, that's going to be put out on YouTube, right?
Yep, something cool.
Something cool. Those damn kids YouTube page.
Yep, those damn kids bois, and something cool music video. Noise and shit from 106. Be on the lookout for Beautiful Chaos. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, did I just leak the album title? Shit.
Oh, you heard it here first, people. So links in the description. I'll link those damn kids YouTube page, their distro kid, and social media,
Follow
Facebook page.
On Facebook.
I don't know if you guys have Twitter or not. And also post the link.
Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I'll do it. I got you. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, MySpace, all the above. We got Apple Music. We got Google Music. We got Pirate Bay Music for all those people who know how to fucking use Pirate Bay. We're still on there. Don't worry. You can find us.
You guys putting your music on LimeWire?
SoundCloud has the original album on it and the new album as well.
Yeah, and those damn kids merch will be linked underneath in the description. Support my boy Matticus. Matticus the Bliss is a great hour-long podcast. It was really fun, and I hope to have you on again. It was really great. Fucking dabbing like a motherfucker. Guys.
Signing out with the dab.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed. And if you like Matty, check out his music, check out his band, and support him and them when they go back on tour. I know the one they frequent up in Spokane is The Pin, if I'm correct. Caught you at a bad time.
The Pin shut down.
Oh, The Pin shut down? That sucks. So just in general, just keep an eye out for them wherever they go to next.
Hire for your birthday parties.
All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Don't eat the yellow snow, and don't do what I would do, which is pretty much damn near everything.
And subscribe to Rock Talks.
Oh yeah, subscribe to that one show. No, subscribe to Rock Talks.
All right, guys. I think it was a good first podcast. All right.
Should I do one of those? I'm Matticus to Bliss, and you're watching Rock Talk.
I don't want to get into the fucking litigation battle of Loudwire. All right, man.
Well,
Thank you for stopping by.
all right,
And
buddy.
tune in next week or whatever. I don't know what the scheduling is going to be for these. Fucking. Bye.